Good morning, dear children. Today we will continue with the last subtopic of the chapter, that is, why is Antarctica a human void zone? And for that, we need to understand that the adverse climatic conditions do not allow the human settlement in the continent of Antarctica. Let us go pointwise as to what are the adverse conditions. The continent of Antarctica is a landmass covered with ice up to 4 kilometers thick. Despite its thick ice layer, Antarctica is also classified as a desert because little exposure of the rock surface is there and there are no trees or bushes at all. It is actually when it snows, the snow does not melt and it builds up over many years to make large and thick ice sheets. Therefore, Antarctica also becomes bitterly cold because it is made up of lots and lots of ice and the formation of glaciers and ice shelves and icebergs. All of that really gives it a extremely bitter climatic condition. And this is also the highest because of the raised elevation of the Antarctica as a continent because of the layers of the ice. Secondly, it is the driest because there is no rainfall ever recorded out here. And then you have the windiest and the coldest. Now, windiest because there are extremes of blizzards, of snowfall, and the wind which is flowing out there actually has no obstacle. There are no trees, no buildings, nothing which can actually reduce the speed of the wind. So there are no obstacles at all, so it becomes extremely windy. And specifically when at the south pole or at the north pole, you have the winds twirling around the circular base of the earth where you have extremes of high pressure. Along your poles you have extremes of high pressure, so the wind out there is extremely flowing at a very high velocity. Then you have coldest, we have already discussed, because of too much of snowfall and accumulation of layers of ice. Therefore, we understand that the thick ice sheets, the severe cold, strong icy winds, and the lack of vegetation makes Antarctica extremely unsuitable for any permanent human habitation. And therefore, Antarctica has no cities, no villages, or farms. But Antarctica is an important key in understanding a lot of other things. At present, if we have to note, then we will have approximately from 30 different countries people are living out there in around 70 scientific bases that they have made on their own. So if we are listing out, then we have scientists, researchers, support staff. Now, scientists and researchers we understand, but who's the support staff? The support staff is the number of people who are there to help the researchers and the scientists out there to have a normal habitable life. Like you have your plumbers, electricians, mechanics and carpenters who make a small scientific base, and they maintain it also, because maintenance of everything out there is extremely difficult, so we require specialists out there. So the support staff is equally essential for the correct functioning of your scientists and the researchers. The next category is of the tourist. Now, apart from the scientific research programs conducted by the government of different countries, non-government expeditions, mainly the tourists, also visit Antarctica on a regular basis. And this has actually encouraged a wide range of tourists and adventure activists. You know, some people have a nag of experiencing adventure and they really want to face the most unique adventure wherever possible. So they are actually very, very eager and enthusiastic to go to a place which has already not been explored to a great extent, and there lies a lot of adventure in doing so. And most of the traveling which is done out there is through the motor powered vehicle, and the main mode of transportation across the ice is that only. Now let us discuss the purpose of the people who are living out there in Antarctica. We already have discussed that the researchers and the scientists are living out there, and the tourists, what are they coming for? We've done that. But then for scientific research, as we can see, Antarctica provides a totally unpolluted environment, and hence it is the ideal location for monitoring pollution elsewhere in the world. Antarctica actually influences the global climate of the entire southern hemisphere. So its study therefore adds a lot to the information and the knowledge of the factors which are influencing the monsoons on which the economy of most of the southern hemisphere countries is dependent. So it becomes very important for the scientists to conduct the scientific research on these topics like your atmospheric studies, glaciology, medicine, biology, environment, and the human impact on the white continent. That is, it had started melting, but because of the environmental activists, now people have taken steps again the global warming, and it is actually being noted down that the ozone depletion layer, which was actually happening at a massive rate, has now reduced. And it is said, I don't know how much it is true, but most of the scientific researchers have actually said that it is now healing itself. The ozone layer is above the Antarctica, where it was actually found out that there are holes in it. Now it is supposed to be healing. Children, you should know a little about the expedition of Indians to Antarctica. Although it is not there in your textbook, neither it is in your course, but it is important for us to know about the development of Indians also in Antarctica. India's first scientific station, which was named as Dakshin Gangotri, was set up out there in Antarctica in the year 1984, where an automatic weather data recording system powered by the solar batteries was installed and left behind at Dakshin Gangotri. And it became submerged in the ice, and it actually discontinued, or it stopped functioning in 1990, and now it is being used as a supply base and the transit camp. So that was the initial step. In 1984, India had established a scientific station named Dakshin Gangotri in Antarctica. That's important information, children. You should know so much, this much of general knowledge. Next comes the second permanent station, that was called Maitri, and that was built in 1989. Now, this station is equipped with essential communication links with India, and we continuously keep on getting the update of any of the data regarding all of these studies from Antarctica directly. And let's come to the third one. Bharti is the India's third research facility in Antarctica. And this facility focuses on the study of the ocean waters and continental breakup as to how did it happen. We all have been discussing about the Gondwana and the continental drift theory. That is actually being taken up by the Bharti, or the third research station in Antarctica, manned by Indian researchers. One very interesting thing is that Dr. Kanwal Wilku is the first Indian woman to go on scientific expedition to Antarctica and stay in the frozen continent for 16 months. And this shows the spirit of adventure in a lady named Dr. Kanwal Wilku and her high spirits. When she was actually selected for the expedition, she became the part of the 22nd Indian expedition to Antarctica from December 1999 to March 2001. So with this, we come to the end of the chapter, children. Now I have given a few questions for your classwork. Kindly mail them, do them as classwork after this 8 or 9 minutes of video. Kindly make sure you mail your work before 1 p.m. today itself, because from 10th your exam starts. I'm not giving any homework. Please finish these 3 easy questions right now after this video. Thank you.